In this video, I'll be using Tinkercad.com to design a simple keychain that can easily be printed on most 3D printers. I'm going to go ahead and start by clicking and dragging a box to the center of my work plane. The box was found under Basic Shapes on the far right here. And notice when I click on the box, I can see those 5 points. When I don't click on the box, they go away. I want to click on one of those points so that I can resize my box. And I'm going to change the bottom one to about 80. And let's change this right one can stay 20. And the top one here, I'm going to click on that and change that to 6. So now we have it's going to be the foundation of my keychain. I'm using right click on my mouse to rotate left and right. You can also use a 2-finger click and drag on a laptop or a Chromebook. So there's a few ways you can do that. Now to go back to that original view, I simply click home on the left here, and that should bring us back to this home view. Next, let's go ahead and grab some text. So from the far right here under Basic Shapes is text. I'm going to click and drag and just place it right underneath my keychain. And instead of text, I want it to say BLTW. So I'm going to use my right click and get a top view here. And notice that my letters here are far greater than my box. So I'm going to resize the project lead the way. But when I do that, I have to be careful that I'm holding shift, because if I'm not holding shift, here's what happens. It doesn't move, it doesn't change proportionally. I'm going to hit Control Z to go back. But if I hold shift, it'll change proportionally my length and width and my height. So I'm going to make it to where it looks like it'll fit. That looks about right. But here's a problem with that. Sometimes you'll lose your letters, your text. And the reason you lose them sometimes is that when you resize them, they'll get lost inside. So something I like to teach is just make it look weird, like bigger like that. That way when you resize it length and width wise to where you want it, it'll always stick out, and then you can easily just resize this top. I'm going to make it 10, and that should make it look pretty good. I'm actually going to make my letters a little bit bigger here, so I'm going to hold shift and drag, get a top view by right clicking, and that looks about right. You can center this if you'd like, and I can show you how to do that now. If I click and drag to highlight both, top right here is align. When you click the alignment tool, you'll see all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points that you can align it. So I'm going to make it center here, and that's all I really want. I don't want to center it here because I want to make it a keychain. So I'm going to go back, Control Z, and I'll keep it there. Next, I need to change the size of my letters again. Back to 10. Next, let's go ahead and group these two so it becomes one solid shape instead of 2 shapes. To do that, I will click and drag, select both, and here it says group, and now that becomes one solid shape instead of 2 shapes. Next, let's place a hole here so that we can make it an actual keychain. To do that, I'm going to grab a cylinder, and notice the cylinder is a different color. That's because it's already a hole. You can make any shape a hole. So for example, if I grab this box, this solid box, I can change it to hole. If I grab a cone, I can make that a hole. So you can make any shape a hole. But I'm going to just go ahead and use a cylinder since it's already ready to go. I'm going to use my right click to reposition my view here. And I want to just make this, let's keep it simple here. Let's see what 6 by 6 looks like. So 6 by 6. Your height doesn't really matter because it's a hole anyway. But that looks like it could be a little bit bigger, so let me make it an 8 by 8. And then I'm going to use, you don't want it to be too close to the edge, otherwise it'll break easily. But you also don't want it to be too far, because if it's too far, the keychain won't really work. So that looks about right. Same way I lined it before, I'm going to click and drag, select both, go to my alignment tool, and I want it to be centered. It looks like it's already centered, so that looks pretty good. And then finally, I'm going to zoom out. I'll even go home here. Now that looks about right, I'm going to click and drag again, and I'm going to group. And what's going to happen is now it's going to group the whole with the base, and that's why I said the height didn't matter, because now it went away, and there's my hole. The last thing that I haven't talked about is decoration. If you wanted to add a few more things to this, for example, maybe a little star, I'm going to hold shift as I resize the star to about 7 by 7. How does that look? I'm going to click and drag this top one here just so I can see it. And you can see that that's still too big, so I'm just going to make this 5 by 5, and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, 5, enter. That looks about right. And now I'm going to drag it just away from that hole, and that looks to be good. I'm going to make it the same height as my letters. I'm going to click on that top point once, and then I'm going to change it to 10. And same thing, I'm going to group. So I'm going to highlight everything together, group it up. Okay. So finally, the last thing I'm going to show you is how to send this to a printer. The way you do that is up here where it says export. It says download and 3D print. So I'm going to export, and you're going to see a few different size options. And not size options. You're going to see a few different file types. And the file type that most printers will use is an STL. But if it's not, you can simply ask whoever's helping you. And once I clicked on that, you see on the bottom left here, it says the file name. And this, if you show in folder, this is the file you want to share with whoever is helping you print, whether it be via email, or if you're going to submit it online. Once you show this in folder, you'll see the file name, and that's the file you want to drag into whatever folder or whatever way you're sending it to whoever's printing it for you. Or if you're printing it, you'll submit that file to your printing software. For example, I have MakerBot, so I'll send it to my MakerBot print, and then I'll be able to print from there. Thanks for watching.